Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing my out-of-box review for the HG Build Fighters Gundam 00 Shia Qan. Now let me just start off this review by eating my words a little bit here, because when this kit was first announced and leading up to its release, I really just didn't take the kit seriously at all. I mean, as seriously as you're going to take it, but the cat ears on it just made it so much of a joke to me that I just thought this kit was just ridiculous, from the start. Closer to the release, it did grow on me a little bit, and I, was starting to like the design a little bit more, most especially just because of the side backpack thing. The GN sword bits there I think are really cool, taken from the Transient Gundam. But now after building this kit, I have to say that this is probably my favorite of the three Island Wars kits that we've got, between the Scramble Gundam, the Beargguy P, and this. And I think that's partly due just because the Scramble Gundam just being kind of disappointing, the Beargguy just not really being much new. And so that kind of makes this one kind of easy to beat out those. But this is just a really nice, good kit, and definitely the best of the three, I think, if you were going to take a look at overall aspects of them. So again, basically it's just the HG 00 Qan, but all the new stuff that we have on here does work really well. I like the color scheme pretty well. The green and white I think does work nicely in this case. The darker green, I'm not really too much of a fan of that color, but luckily there's very little of it. It's not really all that noticeable. Like in the stomach there, you can hardly notice that at all. The feet, a little bit more noticeable, but not too much. Overall, the stickers for this kit, there really wasn't that many. If you remember from the unboxing, there was mostly just a few, for the cameras, the eyes, the cameras on the head. There are a couple more, though, that are used for small color apps. I'll point those out here in a moment. Things that you will have to paint if you want this to be color accurate. There's other things as well that are not color accurate on here at the moment, even with the stickers on there. But overall, it is a really nice kit. So let's take a look at some of the articulation, because again, this kit is based off of the 00 Qan, which is a little bit older kit, but the articulation I think is still very good. So here on the head, we have a few of the stickers here. I'll just point out to you there. For the camera on the front, that's a sticker. On the back of the head, we have this black and blue sticker that goes across the back there. There's a blue sticker in there for the camera. And then on above that, that's a little white sticker there that wraps around the top of that camera there. So I think that part was originally green, and you just slip a little white sticker on there, so that it's just white all the way back to the back of the head there. So it's kind of cool, this green part for the back of the head, aside from the cat ears on the top. I like how it wraps around on the side, covering up these clear parts there on the side of the head a little bit. Then we of course have a sticker there for the eyes as well. So the head articulation is going to go back to about there, not too bad. Down very, very far, so no problems there. Again, just underneath the clear parts, so the clear parts on the side of the head, here on the chest, the arms, the legs, there's just mirror foil stickers there underneath those to make those GN condensers shine really brightly there, so that's always good. As far as the waist, we're going to have a little bit of movement forward and back here in the stomach section, but not really all that much, side to side, nothing. Of course it rotates, but that's pretty average. The shoulders have the shoulder joint with the swinging polycap, but doesn't swing that much. I think you can see it here. It's coming out a little bit there, but not really a whole lot. Here you can see another, that's just a blue foil sticker there on the center of the back there. So the shoulders are going to move. These are the same shoulders that I complained about, so I feel I'd better complain about them with this kit as well. With the Scramble Gundam, where the ball joint for the arm is just molded into the shoulder piece, it for whatever reason didn't annoy me as much on this kit. I don't know why, but it didn't really bother me in this case because I don't know, for reasons. Yeah, so the arm is going to rotate there at the top as usual. Get a double joint there, which is going to really only give you about that much just due to the shape of the arm. Before you put on this upper arm piece here, before you put that on, this clear piece there, that clear blue piece for that GN condenser in the elbow, can fall out very easily, so just be careful to hold that in there while you're assembling the arm, and then once you put this white part down on top of that, it helps to hold that part in place. Otherwise that clear part can fall off really easy. There's nothing really holding it in there really well. This one here on the forearms does stay in there a little bit better because it has that little notch part that where it like fits down into the arm. There we do also have a small bit of articulation there at that point at the forearm. And then of course the wrist is just on a ball joint. We can pull that out a little bit to get a little bit more articulation there. Not really actually a whole lot though. The front skirt is just this one piece that will just move a little bit. This one also you can see here, it's just on a polycap ball joint there. It just pops into there. Side skirts will move up and down. The back skirt, now here's this big thing. This is the original back skirt piece. It just plugs onto on top of this new part that you're like building underneath that. These will swing out like that. It's not really for any particular reason because you can't like take those off and like make these into sword blades or something, but just for like for when it's flying or something, you can just have those spread out instead of just pointed straight back like that. I guess they could serve as like other weapons. If it's like dashing past an enemy, it can just like whip out this blade there out of its butt and slice someone there. So anyway, the legs are going to, of course, rotate there at the top. The hip joint here is one that swings forward and backward. So we have that pivot there. We have a nice double joint here in the knee. A little bit unsightly point here in the knee though, I think, is here you can see there's a connection place to plug that part on like the double O quanta that goes on like the back of the leg, but obviously there's nothing here in this case, so that looks a little bit odd. It just looks like there's obviously something supposed to go there, but we don't have anything there. But of course, just very nice bend there at the knee, giving you a very full bend. The ankles, of course, going to be really nice as well, giving you full range of articulation all the way to the side, like broken skateboarding foot. A little bit of movement here in this part on the front of the leg as well. That will move up. The foot goes up to about there and down to about there. So overall, very nice articulation in the legs. The legs are super well articulated. Here's the other sticker that is a color app. This gray piece there on the top of the foot, that is a sticker that just fits over that. So that should be relatively simple enough to paint. As far as seam lines, this one here on the front of the leg, the top part of that, there you go, sorry that's not focused. The top part of that is a panel line, so it's made of panel line, but then there's a bottom part that's not meant to be a panel line, so you will have to remove the seam on just a small little area there on the back of the leg. You'll have to remove this seam all the way going down the back of the leg there. On the thighs, it's okay. On the forearms, you will have a seam here on the back of the arm as well. You can see the back of the arm is different on this one. On this one, you'll just have to remove the seam here on the lower part of the lower arm. But anyway, so it does have a few seams, but overall really not too bad. So no, not really too much of a problem there. And then of course we have this big thing here on the side. So this has a few different points of articulation. You can swing this around. Partially that's because one of the things you can do is like swing it around and make it into like a backpack, just like here directly in the back, just something like that. And then you can open this up. This is kind of tricky to do. You have to use this other sword here. You have to open that up, and there's our GN drive inside there as well. So we have another clear part inside there. And these things will move a little bit side to side there. We have these other sword parts that will come off that are underneath there. So just like the double O quant, it has a lot of different stuff you can do with this thing here. So it's kind of cool that you can just swing this around. You have a lot of articulation with that connected onto the backpack. If you are interested in putting this out the other side, you can't do that with the way this green piece is, so you would have to modify this piece or something. You have to just cut that up a bit, just in case anyone is interested in doing that. To mount this on an action base up underneath the skirt here, that's just a panel you can pop off there, and there's the port for the action base. As far as accessories go, we don't really have a whole lot. We have this one GN sword here. It's a kind of interesting design. I like how it's got like the curved shapes going on there, so it's a interesting shape. That's pretty cool. It doesn't like rotate or transform anything like the GN swords of the double O quanta, which I believe do that. That just fits into the hand like that. Just has two open hands here. Our other accessory is a open hand. Did I just say open hand? Two holding hands here. One open hand here for the left side only. And so that's it for our accessories, just the open hand and the sword there. It obviously has these ports on the arms there, so I think you could probably use, if you had the just HG double O quanta, you could definitely use some of those weapons for this. I'm sure that would work if you're interested in doing that. So I think one reason why this kit has been more appealing to me than I expected is just because of how good the articulation is. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know the one thing that I really love in a kit is really excellent, really fluid in terms of the articulation. So this kit obviously has that with just the design of the mobile suit. If you took off that thing, the backpack, shoulder pack thing, I still can't figure out what the heck to call that. If you took that off, this would be a really like bare bones mobile suit design. It's just like, I guess it's got the big back skirt as well, but just regular mobile suit itself, just the Gundam, like without that extra stuff, it's just really slim and just really like well articulated. There's a word that I'm thinking of, I just can't figure out what it is, but I think you guys get the idea anyway. It's just really fun to pose this kit, and the addition of the open hand definitely helps a lot. It would be kind of cool if we had two, but you know, it has the sword to hold in the other hand, so that's kind of cool. I mean, like as you're seeing this now, that's everything that the kit comes with, plus just the one other holding hand that's just off to the side. But it's just nice to have just a nice simple kit that just holds all its weapons really well without looking like it's intentionally holding like a lot of extra weapons. So just a pretty simple, solid kit, and that's good in my book. For a comparison here, unfortunately I don't have an HG00 Quanta, but I have the real grade, which recently came out earlier this year, to compare this with. Obviously the real grade is going to have a much different look, as it has just so much more detail and part separation, everything going into that kit. But as you can see, I think the HG still manages to hold its own. It still looks good, and I think that is a lot due to the articulation, because the articulation is very good, looks really natural. It still is able to, I think, fit in sort of with the real grade. Obviously it's lacking a lot of the details that the real grade has, especially, like, again, the part separation. So if you just went in and did some nice painting on the HG kit, it could, I think, look, you know, just as good in a way. Obviously it's not going to have the same look as the RG, but they're both cool kits that are going to look pretty good together as like sort of sister suits, sort of, in a way. So yeah, pretty cool. And as I mentioned before, one of the cool things that you can do with this is move that side pack around to the back, and it acts as a backpack. And opening up those GN sword bits, which were sort of like the ends of the spears of the Transient Gundam, when you open those up and sort of open out kind of all the different clear GN blades there, kind of all that clear parts there in the back, it's going to be looking pretty cool, I must say. And then if we give this the UV light test, so this is under a black light test, obviously those parts are going to shine really bright blue and going to be looking really cool. So as you can see, the whole suit is being lit up a little bit just because there's a lot of white on there, but hopefully you're able to see how well those blue parts are lighting up there as well. So under UV light, this is another one of those mobile suits that's going to be looking pretty cool. Right, now another cool gimmick that you can do with this is take off one of those GN sword bits from the back side pack, and you can take off the clear piece from the center of there as well, and you can connect those together and then connect that onto the arm, and it acts as a sort of shield thing there on the back of the arm. Now unfortunately you can only do that with the one arm because the arms are asymmetrical there, the forearms, so you can only have it on the one side. You could then open that up if you wanted to as well. You could have it act as sort of like a claw there attached onto the arm, or just you know, the laser just cannon, if you have it opened up like the Transient Gundam uses like that. So a lot of different cool things you can use with that as well, of course. The lower parts, these parts on the side backpack, the lower parts there, those also come off. But you're not really actually able to move those to anywhere or do anything with those that I've found. I think originally those do attach like onto the GN sword that's like held in its hand, and you can make like that big sword like the 00 Quanta, like big style sword. But with this, I think there's not really anything that you can do with those, just because the sword is different and just everything's molded differently. I'm not sure if you could maybe change some parts and do something with those. I haven't done enough experimenting with this kit. If you guys know, if you've tried something like that, let me know in the comments. But otherwise, I think they're just kind of just there, which is I'm perfectly okay with that. So that's going to just about do it for my review of the HG Build Fighters Gundam 00 Shia Qan. And I've talked a lot about the things that I like about this kit. There are, well, not really all that many negative things to say about this kit. I mean, it needs a little bit of painting, it needs a little bit of seam line fixing, but really the only negative thing that I can really say about this is just that some of the clear parts, especially the clear parts there on the backpack, those larger clear parts, it's hard to get rid of the nubs. The nub marks, the gate marks on those are very large, and it's really hard to get those off like cleanly and nicely without damaging that clear plastic. Now, if you do happen to damage the clear plastic, there is ways to fix that with like polishing compound. You can like sand it, and then you have to use polishing compound on it, and you can make it clear again, because obviously you're not going to want to sand it and then have it just all like scratched up, and it's not going to look good. But just try to be really, really careful with it. Use a very sharp knife and just be really careful, and just sort of slice at it very slowly with a knife would be the best way to do it. Or yeah, just try polishing compound on it, I guess. But those are the only ways that I know of. There might be other better ways to go about doing that. If you have any other better suggestions, you can leave those down below, and hopefully some other people can check those out. But that's it for me. Definitely a cool kit, definitely worth it. If you're a fan of the 00 Quanta, or if you're just a fan of the design of this kit, then it's worth checking out. I quite enjoyed this kit, so that is a big relief after not really enjoying the Scramble and the Beargguy Pretty all that much. So happy with this. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you do have any other questions or comments, leave those down below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.